I'm going to confess I was really busy this week. I did not watch the Apple event. All I did was read the script it was actually full on hashtag lie-ness. I had no idea what I was reading the script about. Alex Clark prepared it. Um, and Jonathan Horst prepared this now. I haven't looked at any of it. So there's a plus size iPhone 14 and 14 Pro. There's no new mini. The vanilla iPhone gets a 6.7-inch size, $100 more. Okay. Fun fact, the difference in cost for that slightly larger screen is not $100. But, I mean, you're buying an iPhone. You knew that.
There's margin on everything.
Frankly, yeah, there's margin on everything. And okay, I want to make it really clear. I've said this before, but people don't seem to hear it. It's not Apple's making money that I object to. A lot of the time, it's just their attitude about it that I find frustrating. The fact that they will say that, oh, it's about being environmentally conscious. It's about this. It's about that. It's about user safety. No, it's about making money. Just own it. Emergency SOS satellite feature. This is super cool. So basically, you can send off an SOS in an emergency when you are out of cell phone signal. Had you seen this already?
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it has an app that like allows you to like freaking line up your phone with the satellite to get just enough signal to send out an SOS, and that's it.
That's sweet.
And this is not just for emergencies. Like this could just be if you're the kind of person who just goes off grid for long periods at a time. You can actually send a message to your friends and loved ones, every day or every couple of days. Ping, I'm alive. Ping, I'm alive. Ping, no need to send help yet. Ping, I'm alive. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
That's a game changer.
Very good.
The Pro version gets the Dynamic Island, which is
an amazing name. So good.
So which would you go to, the Dynamic Island or the Lonely Island?
Oh, there's some stuff in boxes at the Lonely Island.
Yeah, I heard there's some pretty good stuff in boxes there. You ever open up those boxes? Because, let me tell you.
Bang!
Woo! Woo! Spicy. Justin. Sorry. It
That took me a sec. I know what you're referencing now.
It replaces the notch with a pill-shaped cutout on the OLED screen that resizes in software for notifications, etc. So they've decided not to eliminate the notch, but rather to double down on it. Now it is a feature. It is not a bug.
Thick notch.
I still hate it, and cool.
It's no longer a notch, guys. It's an island.
To be clear, I hate it now. I'll try it. I'll get an iPhone, whatever one, 14 Pro, I guess, and I'll daily drive it for a little bit, and I'll see if it can change my opinion. When I set a timer and I get that little animation, maybe it will completely change how I feel about having a exit wound in the middle of my screen. Honestly, that's one of the things that I love so much about the Fold is it has that underscreen camera. So you just do not need to ever see so I can't find anything that's full screen because so many apps are designed to hide stupid hole punch cameras and notches. Anyway, the point is, okay, full screen content of any kind. I basically don't notice it, and I really like it. Speeds and feeds. The iPhone 14 Pro gets the A16 chip. It's 4 nanometer, 50% more memory bandwidth compared to the competitors, who they claim are as fast as an A13, which I actually kind of believe at this point. It's been Apple versus
other Apple,
like an old man pouring out molasses for a long time when it comes to mobile CPU speed. Like, honestly, at this point, I feel like the fact that the iPhone 14 did not get the A16 chip, instead it gets the old A15 chip, but like with 5 GPU cores now, like the 13 Pro. The fact that Apple is even bothering to release faster, newer processors at this point is an indication that this stuff was just all on their roadmap before they realized that the rest of the industry was going to completely stop moving, right? I mean, they've already done all the R&D. They might as well fab new ones. But at this point, they're probably sitting there going, well, these guys are so far behind. We don't even need to bother putting these new chips in our new phones. And I actually see this, I see this as a win. Not putting a new processor in this new phone, the iPhone 14. Yeah, see, I knew he was going to make that face. Hold on. I'm going to let you try and figure out why I think it's a win.
I genuinely have no idea.
Part of
Price?
Apple's calculus. Oh, no.
Okay.
It's still expensive.
Yeah.
It's got a price bump, actually. Part of Apple's calculus for software support is the SoC in the product. And part of their calculus is some kind of minimum lifetime for every product. So when you get
okay.
see where I'm going now. So there was a chip that, if I recall correctly, was common to like phone, iPad 2, I want to say, and like an Apple TV or something like that. The point is, it got used very broadly across Apple's product portfolio. And what ultimately ended up happening was the products that had that SoC ended up getting outsized long-term product support, because a lot of the time the idiosyncrasies and the challenges around bringing an updated software to a particular device is really just about the SoC that's in that device. So if you already had to do the work for the iPhone 14, well, even though the 13 series is a year older, well, screw it. You might as well port it to that too. Unless there's some huge compelling feature that, require that is integral to the new version of the OS, and you really need to drop that older device, which clearly ain't the case here.
Yeah.
I suspect that this will mean an extra year of updates for iPhone 13 users. There's no way Apple would ever confirm something like this, but I suspect, based on their track record, that we will actually see that, which is cool.
That's good. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I dig that. I dig that a lot, actually. Price bump, you mentioned it, in most places except China, Canada, the US, where it's $799 for an iPhone 14 and $999 for an iPhone 14 Pro.
Sick. But everywhere else gets a price bump, which is pretty sweet, I guess. Speeds and feeds. I already talked about that. Camera updates. Apple claims 2 to 3x improvements in low light performance. Sensors and aperture are bigger. There's now a photonic engine, even processing the photos more. Okay, cool. And the Pro gets a brand new 48 megapixel sensor on the main camera, allowing a 2x telephoto option. I guess that's about it. I mean, there's the new watch. Frankly, I can't say that I am that impressed. There's lots of cool stuff, I guess. The Ultra model can be used as a dive computer up to 40 meters deep, so that's around 120 feet. It has an action button to integrate with fitness apps and scenarios, 36-hour battery, 60-hour with low power setting in a coming update, and 2 speakers for an 86 decibel emergency siren. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, user safety is a big deal.
I like stuff like that. I'm totally down. If one of the greatest things about smartphone is that it combined a bunch of devices into one, and not just like, oh, I can listen to music, right? So it's like a boombox and a normal cell phone, but also flashlights, right? No, it's not the best flashlight ever, but you can get a flashlight on there that you can do work, but you can find little things with it or whatever. Adding more things to that pile is good. Why not?
One of the other new features for both the Series 8 and the Ultra is a body temperature sensor to track changes over time to enhance cycle tracking, so like menstrual cycle tracking, and provide a retrospective estimate of when someone has ovulated, which could be useful for fairly obvious reasons.
Warning if you're in certain states.
Okay, so that's actually one of the other things that we were going to talk about. I guess we're going to do a little side quest here.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't.
We received some mixed comments on our coverage of the Apple Far Out video with regard to our statement about the Apple Watch Ultra's ability to track women's bodily rhythms, but then keep that data secure and secret, even from Apple, from everyone. So we noted that this degree of privacy is important today, given the fact that in some states now, abortion has suddenly gone from legal to illegal, and such data could be weaponized against the woman who generated that data. Now, my personal position on this issue is that A, it's more complex for me than this side or this side, and B, it's not something anyone asked me about. So with that said, my comment in the video was not an attempt to wade into the U.S. abortion conversation. I have no desire to do that whatsoever. My point was that laws are not static. And regardless of your stance on Roe versus Wade or whatever the hot button issue of the day is, whether it's 2FA or 2FA, 2A or something else, you should support the right to maintain the privacy of your data. And as such, you should never, not even if it's the other guys, you should never support the practice of your own healthcare data being used against you.
That's actually a huge thing. There's a lot of insurance companies that are very enthusiastically buying your, when you like submit DNA to various DNA companies to figure out your lineage, whatever. Yep. Those companies, as far as my understanding goes, are making the lion's share of their money, just selling all of your data to insurance companies so they can charge you more.
Luke and I have talked about this pretty extensively in the past. There was one WAN show in particular where we discussed a smart toilet that would analyze your urine and I think your stool as well to help screen for diseases. And our positions do vary a little on some of these issues, but I think it's fair to say that we agree that these could be useful technologies, but also that they can have very dangerous knock-on effects.
So just understand the issues and make the decisions for
yourself. They could dramatically increase health insurance premiums, for example, for at-risk individuals through no fault of their own. And the truly scary part of all of this is the uncontrolled way that this data moves around after it's been collected through data sharing agreements and corporate acquisitions. Frankly, I believe our unease around the collection of personal data and desire to keep it private should not be a partisan issue. And if you think it's a partisan issue, you need to wake up because this is a problem. What if tomorrow, the Apple Watch used its accelerometers and its microphones to track how fast you drive your car, and Apple was forced to fire over a little SMS message to law enforcement every time you went 5 miles over the limit? How'd you feel about that? What if what you were doing was totally safe? Or what if it was necessary due to an emergency? Remember the bit about laws changing that I just mentioned? What if prohibition came back into effect and your Apple Watch used its temperature and heart rate monitors to detect a state of intoxication? Should it draft a little email for the cops and your insurance company and let them know about your little indulgence?
Or we'll probably also know if you're driving at the same time.
Or should that information be secure and belong only to you? The bottom line is this: women's rights are human rights, and when it comes to protecting private health information, people across the aisle should be absolutely united. That is all I have to say about that.
Cool.
AirPods Pro 2nd generation. Now featuring the H2 processor with improvements to sound processing, active noise cancellation. They claim 2x more, whatever that means. Personalized spatial audio, and they offer adaptive transparency, which minimizes loud sound intensity. That's kind of cool. I don't know that I would use something like that at maybe like a concert or something. I often use my AirPods Pros. Actually, I know what I would use them for. I often use them just as like earplugs, like when I'm working on tools and stuff. So having a transparency mode that will take a bit of the edge off of like a table saw or something like that, that would be actually pretty sick. Okay, so I will obviously buy these, daily drive them. My 1st gen AirPods Pros are in pretty rough shape at this point. One of them is getting kind of like scratchy, crackly sounding.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, the battery life's not what it was. So I'm stoked. There's a volume slider. You can slide the finger up and down on the touch control to adjust volume. That sounds pretty cool. I sleep in them, so I hope that moving my head around is not going to do anything. I've had issues with my Sennheisers. Those are my backup or like sound really good ones, and then it's the LG FP8s for like better comfort. I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night with dead earphones, and I've ever since we had kids, like I need something in order to sleep, so I'll swap my earphones to something that has a battery and then try and go back to sleep. I know, right? It's dumb.
I didn't realize that was a since you had kids thing. I thought that was just forever.
No, since I had kids, yeah. Because I used to need complete silence to sleep, but then once that wasn't an option, and Yvonne was going to be the one with the kid, particularly when our son was born, since she was going to be the one with him during the day, and she was going to get to like nap during the day, I had to be able to sleep sometimes for longer periods because I was going to go to work, like, new company and stuff. So I had to learn, I had to find something that would help me tune out whatever was going on around me. And that's what I settled on. And now it's a crutch.
Yeah.
Now I can't get over it. There's a new extra small silicone tip. The 2nd gen tips are not compatible with 1st gen. Okay. better charging case. You want blah, blah, blah. Oh, a speaker for finding it, which is nice. Plus a lanyard loop. Nice. Battery life up to 6 hours with ANC. And 30 hours included with the case total. Okay. And still $250. I'm in.
Someone's
I'm
saying,
so in.
how do you feel about Apple still not putting USB-C on them? Pretty good question.
Functionally, it doesn't matter.
Kowalski.
I already own lightning cables everywhere I need to charge my AirPods. For me, it doesn't matter. However, I would like to see the industry moving towards standardization on USB-C sooner rather than later, and I wish Apple wasn't just dragging ass on this for no obvious reason. So they can certainly afford to redo the tooling of the outer case to make a slightly bigger hole. So there, that's what I have to say.